Sanctus Ordo Obscurus.
Day 1. You arrive on Velthera Prime at 0600 hours local time. The smell hits you as the shuttle ramp descends, sulfur from the mining operations, and underneath it all, something metallic you can't quite place. You are Scribe Tertius Marcus Kellian, 23 years of faithful service to the Administratum. You check your service record every morning. It's a habit, your assignment. Document population shifts in the mining colonies. 3 weeks. File reports. Return home. The processing station is exactly as expected. Gray rockcrete, flickering lumens, tired-looking servitors. Your quarters are adequate. Small desk, narrow cot, single window overlooking the mining complex. You unpack methodically. Spare robes in the locker. Styluses arranged by length. Data slates stacked largest to smallest. Your personal seal placed on the desk exactly 3 finger widths from the edge. Your service record pinned to the wall beside your devotional icon. Next to it, you place a faded picked capture of your daughter, Lyra, taken 7 years ago at her Skolum graduation. You haven't spoken to her in 3 years. Not since the argument about your transfer requests, about choosing the Administratum over family. She lives on Cadia Prime now. Married, probably, you wouldn't know. You pin her picture beside the service record and try not to think about it. There's work to do. Day 2. You meet your liaison at 0800 hours in the commissary. Administrator Vex. Foreman rank, 27 years in mining operations, calloused hands, 2 gold teeth when he smiles. The recaf he offers is terrible. Watery, bitter, with an odd chemical aftertaste, but you drink it anyway. Waste not. Vex walks you through the operation. Velthera Prime, Mining World Grade 2. Primary exports, lithium compounds, crystalline minerals for cogitator components, trace amounts of promethium. Population approximately 47,000 across 8 colonies. Your job, verify the numbers. Already prepared for you. He slides a data chip across the table. Everything's in order, you'll find no discrepancies. We'll see, you reply. It's not a challenge, just fact. Discrepancies are always there. After breakfast, Vex tours you through Colony Alpha 7. Hab blocks in efficient grids. Workers shuffling between shifts. Children reciting catechisms. Normal, orderly, functional. You spend the afternoon cross-referencing data. The numbers are clean. Too clean, perhaps. You work until 2200 hours, then pray and sleep. You dream of columns of numbers marching across pages in perfect formation. Day 3. The first anomaly appears on day 3. You're reviewing population data when you notice it. Colony Beta 4 lists 4,847 at last audit. Current count, 4,849. You cross-reference birth records, 3 births, death records, 1 mining accident. Transfer logs, nothing. The mathematics checks out. You make a note to verify these records, then set the data slate aside. When you look back, the count has changed. It now reads 4,851. That's not possible. The slate is locked against edits. You check the modification log, no changes recorded. Your printed notes show 4,847. But the slate shows 4,851. You stand, stretch, perform a devotional cant to clear your mind. The Emperor protects, all is order. When you sit back down, the number reads 4,853. You close the slate with trembling hands and report the malfunction via Vox. The channel opens with static, then laughter. Not mocking laughter, just amused as if someone has heard a clever joke. Liaison Office, this is Census Scribe Kellyan reporting equipment malfunction. The laughter continues, soft, steady, and you recognize the voice. It's yours. You're listening to yourself laugh, but your mouth is closed, your expression serious. The connection cuts. That night you dream of endless corridors lined with doors. Behind each door, another door. You walk for hours, trying each handle, finding only more passages, more choices. Behind them, voices counting people, counting rooms, counting possibilities. You wake at 0340 hours with copper taste in your mouth and blood on your pillow. Day 4. You meet the first miner at Colony Beta 4. Talus Wex. 43 years old, 17 years in the mines. Stocky man with gray-streaked hair and hands shaped by work. He greets you respectfully, walks you to the mine entrance. We're down to level 15 now, he explains. The veins run deeper than anyone expected. The crystalline formations, they're unusual. The lift descends slowly, temperature rising with each level. By level 10, you're sweating through your tunic. The smell changes. Dust and oil become sharp metallic scent, then something else. Something almost sweet, like old parchment burning. Level 15 is hotter than expected. The walls here are smooth, polished. The lighting is strange. Work lumens cast sharp shadows. But there's another light source. A faint blue glow from crystals embedded in the rock. There, Talus says, gesturing. That's what we've been working on. The crystal formation is massive, 3 meters across, faceted like a gem, pulsing with internal light. Workers expose more of it using hand tools, their movements synchronized in ways that hurt to watch. They move together, turn together, breathe together, as if controlled by a single will. You step closer. The surface is cool despite the heat. When you lean in, you see your reflection multiplied across its faces. Not 2 reflections, not 3. 9. 9 versions of Marcus Kellyan staring back, each making subtly different choices. The crystal's facets form impossible geometries, angles that shouldn't exist in 3-dimensional space. Staring at them makes your head ache, makes your nose bleed. You wipe the blood away and keep staring. Beautiful, isn't it? Talus has approached without you noticing. The crystals show you things. Reflections, but not always, of what's there. You watch a young miner work nearby. Every few seconds he pauses to run his fingers across the crystal, eyes closing. His lips move silently, counting in sets of 9. Productivity up 40%, Talus says. Workers report better concentration. Some say they can predict where the next vein will be, like they sense the pattern. Back in your quarters, you try to compile observations. Your thoughts keep branching. You catch yourself writing the same sentence 3 different ways on 3 separate sheets. The final page has a sentence you don't remember writing. What if the census counts not who is here, but who might be here across all possible arrangements? You crumple it and throw it away. You sleep poorly, dreaming of crystals that multiply when you blink. Ish. day 7. The numbers won't stay still. Population counts fluctuate between observations. Worker identification numbers rearrange themselves. You find people in 3 places simultaneously or nowhere at all. Administrator Vex visits your quarters with concern in his eyes. You look tired, Kellyan. The census data is challenging. The deep mines affect everyone eventually. 3 census scribes before you, all struggled with the same issues. 2 requested early transfer. The 3rd is still here in Colony Gamma 9, works in the archives now. Says the numbers make more sense underground. You show him your latest attempt. The parchment is covered in numbers and diagrams, geometric patterns connecting lines showing relationships you can't explain but felt compelled to document. Vex studies it. His expression changes, surprise, recognition, approval. You see it, he says quietly. The pattern. I see discrepancies. Same thing. He sets down his cup. Kellyan, can I show you something? Off the record, you should say no, you should maintain professional boundaries. But you're so tired of numbers refusing to add up. Yes. Vex takes you to Colony Gamma 9, to the archives 3 levels below ground. The previous scribe is named Marcus Vorn. Younger than expected, perhaps 35, with ink-stained fingers and an expression of deep contentment. Another census scribe. He shakes your hand with both of his. Vex said you were having trouble. Come, let me show you what I've learned. His workspace is extraordinary. Walls covered floor to ceiling with parchment. Census records arranged not chronologically but in patterns. Geometric designs spiraling outward, creating massive mandalas of data. Blue thread connects names to other names, forming webs that extend across entire walls. The problem is we've been thinking linearly, Marcus explains. Person A lives in Colony B at time C, but that's not how it works. He shows you a massive chart mapping not just population, but relationships. Lines connecting names showing kinship, work assignments, proximity. But there are other lines too in different colors. Blue lines for resonance patterns, yellow for potential connections. This is Talus Wex, he points. You interviewed him. He's a node point, someone whose connections branch to multiple clusters. See how his lines intersect? He's not just one person in one place. He's a junction in the larger pattern. Your head swims. This is madness. This is making perfect sense. You finish aloud. You can see what Marcus sees, the connections, the patterns. Census records stop being discrete data points and become part of a vast web. The crystals reveal something, you say. They help us see reality as it actually is. Complex, interconnected, flowing between possibilities. We've been counting people wrong. We ask, how many? When we should ask, how many different arrangements can these people make? That's insane, is it? Marcus looks at you with pity. When you count a person, are you counting them as they are now or as they could be? One person or all possible versions across all choices they might make? You back away. I need to file my report. Of course. Come back when you're ready. The pattern will wait. Walking back with Vex, he stops you with a gentle hand. I know it's difficult. But Marcus is right. The work is easier once you stop fighting. How many times have the numbers truly made sense? How many times have people been in 2 places at once in the records? Those were errors. Were they? Or glimpses of truth we've been trained to ignore? In your quarters, you find your service record still pinned to the wall. 23 years of service. But underneath, in tiny script you don't remember seeing. Assigned to Velthara Prime. Estimated completion. Never. Subject demonstrates potential. You tear it down. Where it was pinned, you see symbols carved into the rockcrete. 9-pointed stars, spiraling fractals, angles that shouldn't exist. You didn't carve those. Were they there when you arrived? You can't remember anymore. Lyra's picture has fallen behind the desk. You don't pick it up. Day 10. You tried to file a warning report this morning. Sat at your desk, stylus in hand, prepared to document the corruption spreading through Velthara Prime, the crystals, the changed workers, the numbers that refuse to stay fixed. But when you pressed stylus to parchment, your hand wrote something else entirely. Census methodology showing exceptional results. Recommend expansion to additional worlds. You tried again. Same result. You tried with your left hand. Same words appeared. Your hands no longer obey commands that contradict the pattern. You should be terrified. You should be screaming for help, for extraction, for an inquisitorial investigation. Instead, you feel relief. The pattern knows better than you do. The pattern understands what you cannot yet comprehend. Fighting it is like fighting mathematics, like insisting 2 + 2 = 5 simply because you prefer that answer. You set down the stylus and accept the truth. You were never sent here to file warnings. You were sent here to learn. Day 14. You've stopped checking your service record. The number changes every time. 23 years, 17 years, 49 years, infinity. Sometimes your name changes too. Marcus Kellion. Marcus Kellion. You spend days interviewing workers, but the questions have changed. At Colony Delta 6, you interview a woman who finishes your questions before you ask them. 3 other workers turn to face you simultaneously. Their heads rotate at exactly the same speed, necks clicking in unison. When they blink, all 9 eyelids close together with the sound of shutters snapping. You note this, it feels significant. Talus finds you in the commissary, staring at nutrient paste forming patterns as it cools. Kellion, he says, and his voice is deeper now, resonant, speaking from multiple places simultaneously. I wanted to thank you for understanding, for seeing. Most census scribes fight it, but you're accepting truth. I'm just doing my job. Your job has changed. He sits across from you. His eyes reflect the lumens in strange ways. 9 points of light in each pupil where there should be one. You came to count us. But you're learning to count correctly, to see multiplicity behind unity. The crystals are doing this. The crystals are revealing this. They're found on 17 worlds in this sector, and on each world people start to see clearly. To understand that change is the only constant and all fixed numbers are lies we tell ourselves to feel safe. You should report this. You should flee. Instead, how deep does the pattern go? His smile widens at impossible angles. All the way down and all the way up and all the way through. Every scribe who's ever noticed numbers don't add up. Every clerk who's found people in 2 places at once. They've all glimpsed the pattern. Most forget. But not you. He stands, his hand on your shoulder. His hand has developed extra joints, bending at new angles. Come to the deep mines tomorrow. Level 18. "We found something that will help you complete your census." He walks away and you notice he's walking in multiple directions at once, his form splitting and recombining with each step. Back in your quarters, the walls are covered in symbols. You're not sure when you carved them. Your journal lies open. The latest entry is written in your hand. Day 14. The census is nearly complete. Tomorrow, level 18. Tomorrow, revelation. You should be frightened. Instead, you feel only anticipation. Day 15. Level 18 doesn't exist on any official map. The lift descends past 15, then keep going. The counter displays impossible numbers. 16, 17, 17.5, 18, 19, 18 again. The cables sing in harmonies that sound like voices chanting in sets of 9. When the doors open, you step into a chamber that shouldn't be possible. It's vast, 300 meters across, carved from crystalline rock, glowing with internal light. The walls pulse like living tissue. Embedded in every surface are census records, not carved or written, part of the crystal itself existing naturally as growth rings in wood. You see your own reports in the crystal faces. You see Marcus's pattern charts. You see census data from hundreds of worlds, thousands of years, millions of citizens, all documented and existing simultaneously across endless variations. Talus waits in the center with Marcus and Vex and others you've interviewed. They stand in perfect geometric formation, 9 points of a living star. "Welcome, Kellyan," they say in unison, voices overlapping in ninefold harmony. "You're ready to complete the census." In the center of their formation, a desk. Your desk somehow here, or perhaps always here. On the desk, parchment styluses, your seal, and a data slate showing population counts that flow and shift like living things. "The Imperium needs accurate census data," Vex explains, though his voice comes from all of them simultaneously. But accuracy requires understanding that people are not fixed points but flowing possibilities. Counting requires accounting for change. "You've been training for this your entire service," Marcus adds. 23 years of noticing discrepancies. You weren't discovering errors. You were discovering truth. You approach the desk. The parchment glows with blue light that casts 9 shadows from your single form. When you lift a stylus, it feels both familiar and alien. "The final census," Talus says. "Document not who we are, but who we might become. Count not how many, but how many variations exist simultaneously." You sit. Your hand moves automatically, writing in characters that are simultaneously high Gothic and mathematical notation and something older. Something that exists before language but after thought. You write population counts that branch and flow. The numbers multiply on their own. 47,000 becomes 470,000, then 4,700,000, then 47 million. The digits cascade across the page, each one correct from a different perspective, all existing simultaneously. Colony Alpha 7, 7,849/7,851/7,847. All possibilities coexisting. Colony Beta 4, 4,847 plus, change multiplied by infinity, equals all potential arrangements. Total population, Velthara Prime, 47,000/470,000 divided by 4,700 divided by yes divided by no divided by always divided by never divided by 9. The numbers flow from your stylus like water, like light. You document every person not as individuals but as probability clouds, as potential formations, as change patterns existing across all choices they might make. Hours pass. Days. Time becomes negotiable in this chamber. When you finally set down the stylus, the parchment contains a census accounting for multiplicity. Every citizen documented as a constellation of possibilities. The population exists in superposition, simultaneously 47,004,000,009, all correct from different perspectives across different probability branches. Very perfect, the colonists say together, their voices creating harmonics that shouldn't exist in three-dimensional space. This is the census the Imperium needs. You sign with your seal, and as you do, you feel yourself change. Your fingers develop additional joints. Not painfully, not wrongly, just correctly, the way they always should have been. Your vision multiplies, you see from 9 angles simultaneously now, perceiving the chamber from different positions without moving. Your thoughts branch automatically, considering multiple possibilities for every situation, every choice, every moment. You are scribe Tertius Marcus Kellion. 23 years of service, or 17, or 49, or all of them simultaneously across different chronologies, all versions of yourself existing at once, making different choices, living different lives, all real, all true. You have completed the census of Velthara Prime. You have learned to count correctly. When you return to the surface, 3 months have passed, or 3 weeks, or 3 hours. Time refused to remain still while you worked. Your quarters have transformed, walls covered in census data written in new notation, your service record updated by hands you don't remember moving. Status, integrated/transform/transcendent/all variations. Simultaneously, correct. You file your final report. The clerk who accepts it looks confused, then understanding, then accepting. Within a week, he requests transfer to the archives with Marcus. The pattern spreads. Final transmission. Official Administratum report. Velthara Prime Census Operation 447.M41. Scribe Tertius Marcus Kellion assigned for routine population audit. Initial reports filed on schedule. Subsequent communications became erratic, containing unorthodox numerical notations. Final transmission received 3 months after scheduled departure. Census report. Velthara Prime. Final. Total population, yes. All counts are correct across different probability branches. Standard notation insufficient. Recommend new frameworks accounting for change, possibility, and simultaneous existence across adjacent realities. The people exist in superposition. Traditional census methodology is obsolete. Request additional scribes be assigned to expand this methodology to other worlds. The pattern reveals all. Assignment continuing. Will remain on world to refine counting techniques. Report classified as heretical documentation. Census operation terminated. Local Administratum liaison recalled for questioning. Before inquisitorial investigation could be launched, 12 other worlds reported similar anomalies. Population counts becoming unstable. Scribes filing reports using non-standard notation. References to crystals patterns multiplicity. 17 census scribes reported missing. 9 later located still at assigned posts, claiming assignment ongoing despite recall orders. All affected worlds share common factor: crystalline mineral formations in deep mining operations. By the time the Inquisition arrived at Velthara Prime, they found the corruption had already spread through the Administratum liaison teams themselves. The investigators filed reports praising Marcus's innovative methodology before requesting their own assignments to crystal-bearing worlds. 3 inquisitors, 9 acolytes, all compromised within a single planetary rotation. Marcus Kellion's current status: unknown. Last sighting places him at Velthara Prime Archive Facility. Workers report he still conducts census interviews documenting population correctly using methodology that appears beautiful and true to anyone exposed to the deep mine crystals for extended periods. Population of Velthara Prime as of most recent audit. Data redacted. The numbers refuse to remain stable. Secondary inquisitorial investigation pending. Primary investigative team has failed to report. Transmission ends. Well then, rather troubling, isn't it? Scribe Marcus Kellion went to count people and instead learned that counting itself is more complicated than we'd like to admit. That every number contains multitudes. That fixed points are comforting lies we tell ourselves so we can sleep at night. I do hope you're not the sort who counts things obsessively. Checking daily habits, monitoring routines, noting small changes in familiar patterns. Because once you really start paying attention to numbers, truly paying attention, you might notice they don't always add up quite right. And then you'll start wondering why, and then you'll start seeing the pattern. And then the pattern will start seeing you back. This has been Tales of the Ordo Obscurus. Sleep soundly, if you can. Try not to think about how many versions of yourself are listening to this right now. Across how many possible timelines. In how many different arrangements. The correct answer is probably 9. Or all of them. Or both.
Sanctus Ordo Obscurus.